So I'm going to talk mostly about the Aldrich, and I want to put that in that context. The Aldrich is a unique institution in that we don't have a collection, so we're not looking to get art for that particular purpose. That frees us from a number of different influences. Collecting institutions have many different agendas at work, not at work here. The other thing that's unique about the Aldrich is that we, as curators, really do have independence. There's nobody, our board of trustees, to be frank about it, is not telling us what to collect. That's not, or what to exhibit, excuse me. And that's not true at every museum. And we also are, I think, somewhat unique in that we are close to New York City, so we're aware of what's going on. We try to be aware of what's going on internationally. Obviously, one of them to do that to a limited extent, but we do attempt to keep up with developments. Most likely, we're more knowledgeable about Europe than other continents for obvious reasons. But we're also cognizant of our role as being self-independent. So we try to show a variety of different kinds of work. So that informs the decisions that we make. If you look at the exhibitions that we have on view now, I think that will come across. Marty Corman's work is one kind of work. He is Spanish by birth, lives in Brooklyn in his mid-30s, I would say. We got to know the drawings first. He is gone from drawing to painting, and his painting is increasing in scale. It's fairly obsessive work. I've discovered over the years that I have an interest in obsessive work, so my own little bit of self-awareness. If you go upstairs, we have James Prosak's work. James is an artist who is perhaps better known as an author than he is as an artist. A very talented man, really in many different fields. So while he is perhaps very accomplished and well known as an author, he's published, I believe, 8 books. As an artist, he is perhaps younger than he is as a writer. Charlotte Schultz, an artist who really focuses on one particular approach to making art. The drawings that she does, very detailed and very complex. And then the large group exhibition, Voice and Void, which has an incredible variety of different kinds of objects in it, from Rachel Berwick's aviary with live birds in it to the Cardiff and Miller piece down in the project space, the huge sort of operatic installation. So what I'm trying to get at is that there's an enormous range of work on view. And as curators, we try, as hard as we can, to keep that diversity alive in the museum. We don't always get that right, but it's something that we think about quite often. So amidst all those projects, there's really 2 different kinds, the solo artist project and the group exhibition. To talk about the group exhibition process first, generally here, we have a curatorial team of 3 people. We kind of, ideas kind of come up and tend to sort of float around in conversation for a while. And if they stick around long enough, then you begin to realize that it's an idea that has some legs and is probably worth pursuing. Generally, one curator will work on a group exhibition. Occasionally, we do projects with curators, so curators will work together on an exhibition. What you have to be careful about when you're doing a group exhibition is that you don't fall into the trap of creating an idea and then illustrating it with objects. In other words, you can have an idea for an exhibition and then just go out and find work that illustrates the 17 different facets of the idea that you've been able to identify. Those exhibitions tend to really fall flat and not be very interesting. I think the way you avoid that is by trying to be a little bit, this is going to sound counterintuitive, a little bit reductive about your idea, keep the idea really simple, and then listen to the artists that you talk with, because they will then take that idea and expand on it or give you an angle on it that you hadn't thought of. And generally, we find that if you find an artist who's interesting, whose work you want to include in the exhibition, they will often lead you to other artists whose work is interesting. So listening becomes an enormously important part of the process of making a good exhibition and avoiding that kind of illustrative nature. On the other hand, it is true that you are only looking for art that fits a certain mold. If you think about the recent group exhibitions that we've had, Voice and Void, which is up now, has to do with the voice or the lack of voice. No Reservations was an exhibition about the influence of Native American culture on the larger culture. So immediately, if you're sticking within those parameters, 90% of the art that you see doesn't fit. So it just doesn't matter. So as a curator, when you're looking to do a group exhibition, as you're going through galleries, doing studio visits, etc., obviously you will see something and say, yeah, that's really of interest to me. 6 months later, that artist might not be of interest to you. It's not a qualitative judgment on the artist's work, it's where your head is at that moment and what you're looking for. So that lens that you're looking through really influences what you are interested in at that very moment. In terms of the solo artist projects, this perhaps gets more to the heart of the matter. What is it that a curator is looking for in an individual artist's work, and what catches their fancy or catches their attention?